Hi, I'm Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it, and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Breguet that might be the one to buy if you're going to buy just one Breguet sports watch. It's important to note that the roots of the Type 20 line lie in French military aviation in 1954 and 1955 when the original Type 20 contract was issued, and it was a contract which several manufacturers responded, of which Breguet of Paris proved to be the most enduring. So while there is an all-new marine line for 2018, and there are other models you can purchase in that worthy catalog, get yourself a Type 20, 21, or 22 if you want a Breguet that is arguably Breguet's Moonwatch, Breguet's Navitimer, Breguet's Submariner. This is the icon of the Breguet manufacturer, and it's an easy icon to wear on my 16cm circumference wrist, as the 42mm titanium case is feather light. Titanium in 42 feels like a 38mm standard steel watch. It's not excessively large, though it is broad from end link to end link. The case itself across the wrist measures 48.8mm from lug to lug, but if you expand to include the solid end links of the bracelet, it has an arc of 56.4, which sounds horrendously huge until you realize that the shape of the case, as well as the shape of the end links, curves around the wrist, so it makes it more accommodating of a small wrist, and I can actually recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 15cm circumference. Now the timepiece has a thickness of 15.4, but you can see how sloped the bezel and the crystal are, so it wears surprisingly well under, for example, a jacket cuff. Maybe not a tight dress sleeve, but certainly a jacket cuff. The spacing between the lugs, a modern 22mm, so though this is a heritage design from Breguet, nevertheless it has a modern planted broad stance on the wrist thanks to the 22mm lug spacing. The bracelet that's included is, like the rest of the watch, all of titanium, and it's a lovely piece. This watch is extensively satin finished with very few polished highlights, and you can see the quality of the bracelet assembly. It's a little bit like a Rolex President bracelet in that the links are broad across but short in cross section. You can see there's satin finish on the side, satin finish on the top, and plenty of channels on the underside, daylight showing through to vent the wrist as well as avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. No Patek pin sleeves here. Screws fix these links in place, so this is an easy bracelet to size if you like to size these things at home and you have conventional watchmaking tools or bracelet tools. There's a clasp inside, also of titanium. It's a friction fit that snaps shut. Jump back to the case itself and you can see the signature Breguet coined case flank, as well as a little bit of a teardrop-like profile with a bit of a undertuck, a flourish at the end of the lug where it swells and ducks down. You'll also appreciate that on the crown side you have a crown with polished knurling and polished outer face, Breguet logo, polished vintage pump style pushers, and then you can see that the edge of the bezel itself has also been polished with a beaded and sharp knurling that makes it easy to manipulate. It is a bidirectional rotating pilot style bezel with a chunkier detent than you're used to finding on bidirectional bezels. Have a listen to this, it's awfully vocal. You don't expect a pilot's bezel to be that chunky, but it's a tactile sensation by pilot's watch standards, rivaling some dive watches I've encountered. Now you can see what you do. You line up the luminescent pearl with the minute hand, and now you have an impromptu 0 to 60 minute timer. It counts up. You also have the chronograph running, so you can time two concurrent events using the bezel and the chronograph. Moving inboard, you can see that under the sapphire crystal, the dial itself is a matte black to reduce glare, but the numerals themselves are applique and satin finished, which is gorgeous and feels and looks rich. There's a flange outboard, and you can see that it's raised above the center of the dial. It's fully luminescent. You'll see that in a moment when I show you the lume shot. There is a unconventional layout about the chronograph, as you have chronograph hours down at 6 o'clock, but then you have chronograph seconds and 60 minutes. The chronograph 60 minutes register sits on center, because this movement, the Breguet caliber 582Q, is based on the ancient Lamagna 1350, which means it has the 1350's radial 60-minute indicator, and it also has the 24-hour indicator that lets you see whether you're looking at, for example, 7:30 in the morning or 7:30 in the evening. You can see that we're past 1800 on the 24-hour subregister, so you know you're looking at 7:30 in the evening here. You also have a constant second subregister at 9 o'clock, and of course the chronograph is a pleasure to operate because you recenter those two aligned hands for the chronograph, then you restart, and you can even restart and reset with a single push of the reset trigger because it is a flyback chronograph. Retour en vol. It is a flyback, so you don't need to stop it before resetting it, allowing you to time events that occur in rapid succession. The 24 joule movement underneath the solid caseback, protected down to 100 meters, features a quick set for the date. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 48-hour power reserve, and of course it is a heritage movement, the Lamagna 1350 being a legend. So much like there is a Lamagna manual calendar caliber I should say, in the Omega Moonwatch, there is a famed Lamagna automatic caliber inside this Breguet Type 21. This timepiece is the heart and soul of Breguet. Everything else in the collection, even the well-regarded Marines, are creations of the modern era, the luxury era, whereas the Type 20s, 21s, and 22s hark back to an era when Breguet truly was a watchmaker to the French government, to the French naval aviator, to the French military aviator, and in that sense, this is Breguet's Moonwatch. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox. Breguet Type 20 by night. The loom here is no joke.